Okay, I want you to picture the most dangerous moment of your entire day. It's not the commute. It's not that big meeting with your boss. It's right now. It's dark. You're warm. You are perfectly comfortable. And then beep, beep, beep.
Ooh, the sound of doom.
Exactly. The alarm clock. And in that one moment, you face this huge decision. Do you leap out of bed ready to go? Or do you just smack that snooze button and beg for, 5 more
It
minutes?
feels so small, doesn't it? But that choice, that one little tap, it actually sets up a whole chain reaction for the rest of your day.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking on this deep dive. We're looking at the anatomy of a daily routine. We've got this really fascinating set of sources today. It's a detailed minute-by-minute breakdown of a conversation between two people, Sarah and Marcus. They documented their entire day for us, from the alarm to, finally going to sleep.
And on the surface, you might think, okay, it's just the schedule. Person A wakes up at 7, person B at 6. But if you look closer, and that's our mission today, it's really an analysis of two completely different lifestyle archetypes.
Right. We've got Marcus, who is your classic, almost annoying morning person.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Sarah, who is, let's call it a night owl, forced to live in a day person's world.
Right. But here's the aha moment for this deep dive. We aren't just recounting their coffee orders. We want to look at the systems they've built to survive. Because when you really get into the source material, you see these amazing contradictions. Like, the person who seems the most chaotic, she actually has the most efficient organization system.
And the person who seems so calm and zen is actually running on like a dangerous amount of sleep.
Exactly.
I love that. It's the paradox of the daily grind. So, okay, let's jump right in. The morning battleground.
Let's start with that wake-up call. The source material draws a very sharp, almost violent line here. Sarah's experience of waking up is just aggressive.
Violent is the right word. She describes her alarm as this harsh beep, 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 and her reaction is just no, rejection. She admits to hitting the snooze button again and again. But here's the thing. Why do we do that? Why does that extra 9 minutes feel like it's going to save us?
It's a physiological trick. It's something called sleep inertia. When Sarah hits snooze, she thinks she's getting more rest. But what's really happening is she's starting to drift back into a new sleep cycle. And when the alarm goes off again, she's interrupting that cycle at the absolute worst possible moment.
So she's actually making it harder on herself.
Oh, significantly. She ends up in a state they call sleep drunkenness. That's why she describes jumping out of bed in a panic. She's not waking up because her body's ready. She's waking up because her cortisol, the stress hormone, has just gone through the roof because she knows she's late.
So she's starting her day on adrenaline, not energy. Now, let's compare that to Marcus. His alarm isn't a buzzer. The text says it's soft music.
And this is key. Marcus wakes up before the sun. He specifically says he wants to be awake when the house is quiet, before the cars start on the street.
See, that sounds lovely to some people, but to me, waking up when it's still pitch black outside sounds like a punishment. What's the real benefit there?
It's about agency, control. Sarah wakes up reactively. She moves because she has to. Marcus is waking up proactively. He's claiming time for himself before the world starts asking for anything. It's a psychological buffer. He's setting the tone. He's not letting the clock set it for him.
And you see this difference immediately in their first act. Sarah goes from the bed, runs to the coffee machine, strong, black coffee, and immediately, what does she do? She grabs her phone.
Right, she plugs into the external world instantly. News, emails, just the flood.
She's flooding her brain with dopamine and cortisol before she's even brushed her teeth.
Exactly. She's letting the outside world decide her mood. Marcus, on the other hand, well, he treats his morning coffee like a mindfulness practice. He has it with hot milk, which is just a little more comforting, right?
Yeah.
And he sits by the window. He explicitly says he does not look at his phone. He just thinks.
That's a power move, just sitting and thinking. In this economy, that's rare.
It is. But think about the biology. By looking out the window, he's getting natural light exposure, even if it's just dawn. That triggers his cortisol to wake him up naturally. It regulates his circadian rhythm. He's telling his body, okay, we're starting now. Sarah's just bypassing all of that and going straight to artificial light and digital stress.
But, okay, here is where we get our first really interesting contradiction in the data. You would assume Marcus, this Zen master of mornings,
Right.
would have some kind of, lavish, healthy breakfast.
You would think. An acai bowl, maybe?
Right, but he doesn't. He admits he runs late, so he just grabs toast with butter or a banana.
Which is just hilarious.
It's so funny. He's up before the sun, having deep thoughts by the window, but he can't find time to make an egg.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, Sarah, the snooze button queen, she actually makes time for a good breakfast. Yogurt with fruit, or she'll even make eggs.
It suggests that, while Sarah hates the act of waking up, she prioritizes the ritual of nourishment once she's up. She's willing to rush something else to get that food in.
Or maybe she needs the food to just crash through that sleep inertia we talked about.
That's a great point. She could be using food as a stimulant just as much as the coffee. For Marcus, maybe the spiritual nourishment of the quiet window is just more important than the calories from the eggs.
One thing they both agree on, though,
What's that?
the shower has to be very hot.
The great equalizer, that thermal shock to the system.
So they're showered, they're caffeinated, now they have to get dressed. And this, to me, is where Sarah is a secret genius.
This is the systems of organization part. And you're right, her strategy here is fascinating because it completely contradicts her chaotic morning.
Okay, so Marcus has a closet full of clothes, but he suffers from decision fatigue. He just stands there thinking, I have nothing to wear. We've all been there.
Right.
But Sarah has a hack.
It's very Steve Jobs, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Sarah has decided she only wears blue shirts,
Mhm.
or white, or gray, but mostly blue. She says, I grab one, done. She's eliminated the variable.
Thinking is for later, she says.
I love that. She saves her brain power for work.
Uh-huh.
Now look at Marcus, the organized guy. He admits he struggles here. He calls it silly, but he just stares at his clothes and can't choose.
It shows that willpower is a finite resource. This is a real psychological concept called ego depletion. Marcus uses up all his willpower on waking up early and avoiding his phone. By the time he gets to his closet, the tank is running low.
That is such a cool insight. Sarah, who exhausted herself hitting snooze, has automated the wardrobe to compensate. It's a brilliant adaptation. She knows she can't handle a choice, so she just removed the choice.
Exactly. Automation is the antidote to decision fatigue.
So they get dressed, head out the door, and here we see another huge split in their personalities. The commute.
Control versus passivity, that's the core difference.
Sarah drives. She's in her car. It sounds miserable. Stop, go, traffic. She's stressed.
But she has control. She's the driver. The cost of that control, though, is what we call cognitive load. She has to watch everything. And she combats this stress with sensory overload loud music.
And Marcus takes the bus. Now, he admits he doesn't like the crowds, says it's many, many people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is but he's passive. He's not driving. So what does he do?
He uses the time. He puts on headphones, listens to music or podcasts. He specifically mentions English Podcast Avenue. He turns what could be dead time into learning time.
It's such a trade-off. Sarah chooses personal space, her car, but pays for it with high stress. Marcus chooses zero personal space. He's squished in, but he buys mental freedom. I'm asking you, listening right now, which hell would you choose? The traffic jam where you can scream, or the crowded bus where you can zone out?
It really comes down to what they call locus of control. Do you need to feel like you're in charge of the machine, or are you happy to be a passenger if it frees up your mind?
So they finally get to work.
Yeah.
And honestly, the work descriptions are pretty similar. It's the modern tragedy. Emails, meetings, talking.
And more coffee, especially for Sarah. She hits the desk and immediately refuels.
But let's fast forward to lunch. This is where their values really split again. And it's not just about food, it's about how they recharge.
Yes. We have Marcus the Prepper versus Sarah the Explorer.
Marcus brings his own lunch. He makes a salad or a sandwich in the morning, remember? During that time when he's supposedly running late, he still squeezes it in.
And he gives two reasons: cost and organization. He's pragmatic, he values efficiency and frugality. He stays in the office.
And Sarah buys lunch every single day she goes to a cafe. But when you read the text closely, it's not really about the sandwich, is it?
No, and this is crucial. She specifically mentions the walk. She likes to walk for 10 minutes to get out of the office. For Sarah, the extra money she spends on lunch is actually an investment in her mental health.
There's a term for that, isn't there?
Yes, attention restoration theory. The idea is that focused work drains your brain. To reset, you need to change your environment. Sarah is instinctively looking for that reset. She needs to physically escape the office to survive the afternoon.
And speaking of surviving the afternoon, they both hit that universal 3.00 p.m. wall, the slump.
Biology remains undefeated. That post-lunch dip always hits.
Marcus switches to green tea, very on brand, and a cookie. Sarah eats an apple.
Which is funny, right? Because earlier, Sarah was the one more likely to be having something less healthy. And now she's having the fruit, and Marcus is having the sweet treat.
It shows these archetypes aren't rigid. People are complicated. Maybe Marcus needs that sugar spike because that early morning is finally catching up with him.
I think that's highly likely. His discipline is starting to crack under the weight of fatigue.
So the workday ends. 5:00 p.m. They do the commute in reverse, Sarah in traffic. Marcus staring out the bus window. But the energy just totally shifts when they unlock their front doors.
This is my favorite part of the whole thing, the pet personality mirror.
It's so accurate it hurts.
Ugh.
Sarah opens the door and who is there? Max. The dog.
High energy, jumping, barking. Max is basically the four-legged version of Sarah's loud music and her chaotic morning. He demands engagement right now.
And Marcus opens the door to Bella,
The cat.
who gives him a single meow, which Marcus interprets as, hello, now feed me. Bella is independent, a little demanding, but calm. She matches his soft music alarm. Bella is the boss, and Marcus is fine with that.
They both do the same thing immediately, though, the uniform change.
The shedding of the work skin. They both put on a t-shirt. Not pajamas yet, that's a key distinction, but comfortable clothes.
Why is that distinction important? Why not just go straight to pajamas?
It's a signal to your brain. It's a concept called enclosed cognition. Putting on the t-shirt tells your brain, the work part of the day is over, but the sleep part hasn't started yet. It defines the evening as its own separate space.
Okay, now we have to talk about dinner, because this is where we get the funniest detail in the entire source. Sarah cannot cook.
Cannot cook is being very generous. She's a culinary hazard.
She tells this story about how she once burned water. How do you burn water? She forgot the pot was on the stove, the water evaporated, then the pot burned. But look at what that actually says about her. It speaks to her distractibility. Sarah is high stimulus. She's probably looking at her phone, listening to music, and poof, the water's gone. Cooking needs a kind of sustained, low-level focus that she struggles with.
So she sticks to the basics, eggs, again with the eggs, or ordering pepperoni pizza.
Whereas Marcus finds cooking to be like a meditation. He chops vegetables, he makes soup. For him, the process is the reward. For Sarah, the process is just a barrier between her and eating.
It's a classic split. Cooking as a chore versus cooking as a hobby. So dinner's done, the evening winds down. Marcus cleans the kitchen, of course he does, he completes the cycle. Then he sits on his big red sofa with Bella sleeping on him.
It's a very static, peaceful picture.
Sarah needs to laugh. She watches comedies to decompress from the day,
Yeah.
and then she takes Max for a walk and looks at the stars.
Which is a nice little moment of mindfulness for her. She gets her quiet time at the end of the day, where Marcus gets his at the start.
But here is the paradox.
Yeah.
This is the thing that really made me stop and think. We've established Sarah is the night owl who hates mornings. We've established Marcus is the morning person.
Right, that's the whole premise.
So why does Sarah go to bed at 10:00 p.m.?
This is the chronotype contradiction. It's so fascinating. Sarah, the one who struggles to wake up, goes to bed incredibly early, brushes her teeth, reads for 10 minutes, and is out instantly.
10:00 p.m. That is early. And Marcus, the guy who wakes up before the sun, he stays up until 11:30 p.m. or midnight.
Watching movies or reading on the internet.
So let's do the math. Marcus is sleeping from, what, midnight to maybe 5:30. That's like 6 hours, maybe less.
And Sarah is sleeping from 10:00 p.m. to whenever that awful alarm goes off, probably 7:30 a.m. She's getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep.
So the morning person is functioning on sleep deprivation, and the tired person is getting tons of rest but can't wake up. What is going on here?
This really challenges our whole assumption of what a morning person is. We assume Marcus is energetic because he sleeps well. But maybe Marcus is just running on discipline, adrenaline, and caffeine. The quiet time in the morning might be his way of coping with being exhausted. He needs that slow ramp up because he's actually running on fumes.
That's a hot take. Marcus isn't naturally energetic, he's just hyper-disciplined. But why stay up so late?
There's a term for this. Revenge bedtime procrastination. It's when people feel they don't have control over their day, the work, the commute, so they steal back time for themselves late at night by refusing to go to sleep. Marcus is so controlled all day that at 11 p.m. he rebels. He just scrolls the internet because that's the only time he's truly free.
That is tragic and so relatable. And what about Sarah?
She might actually be an early sleeper biologically, but maybe the quality of her sleep is poor, or she just needs more of it than he does. Or maybe she just dreads the morning so much that no amount of sleep can make that alarm sound good. It's psychological.
It's a vicious circle, like they say in the source. Sarah sleeps more but wakes up panicked. Marcus sleeps less but wakes up peaceful. It really proves it's not just about the hours you get, it's about the mindset you wake up with.
Absolutely. It's about the rituals. Marcus has built a morning ritual that pulls him out of bed, the silence, the coffee. Sarah has a ritual that pushes her away. The alarm, the rush. Of course she hits snooze. She's nothing to look forward to until that first cup of coffee.
That's profound. If you don't have a carrot in the morning, you're just getting hit with the stick.
Exactly.
So let's wrap this up. We've looked at the anatomy of these 2 days. Marcus, the discipline planner, the chef, the cat owner, running on low sleep and high mindfulness.
And Sarah, the chaotic energy, the dog owner, the wardrobe hacker, who needs laughter and stargazing to balance out the stress.
It really highlights that a lifestyle isn't one big decision. It's 1,000 tiny choices. It's choosing the blue shirt. It's choosing green tea at 3:00 p.m. It's choosing to walk out of the office just to breathe fresh air.
It is, and it shows there's no right way to do a day. Marcus's routine seems perfect, but he's sleep-deprived and decision-fatigued. Sarah's looks chaotic, but she's found these clever hacks to manage her own stress.
So here is my final question for you listening to this, and it's something to really think about. Are you forcing yourself into a routine that's fighting your own biology?
That's a question. Maybe you're a Sarah trying so hard to be a Marcus, beating yourself up because you don't want to meditate at 5 a.m. Or maybe you're a Marcus who is just exhausted and really needs to go to sleep earlier instead of scrolling the internet.
We tend to moralize these things. Early bird gets the worm. But maybe the early bird is just tired and the night owl is just misunderstood.
And maybe the bird who burns the water should just order the pizza and be okay with it.
Exactly. Embrace the pizza if that's what gets you through the evening.
Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the daily grind.
It really has been fascinating. If you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Go check out your own routine, maybe tweak one little thing tomorrow. See if you can turn that beep, beep, beep into some soft music.
And maybe don't burn the water.
Ideally, do not burn the water. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one.